Since the 1800s, professional wrestling has been wowing and thrilling crowds all over the world, transcending cultural and language boundaries. You have the WWE, AEW, New Japan, TNA, the independent scene, so much more. In this day and age, in the present of 2025, there's been no better time to be a fan of professional wrestling. Today's video, however, will be not about the present, but about the past. About a generation of professional wrestlers that would go on to change the landscape of how we view wrestling forever. 4 young men that would push through hardship and pain through blood, sweat, and tears to become generational talents. Men that through their hard work and passion would develop a professional wrestling style now known as King's Road. 4 men who would ascend and become forever known as the 4 Pillars of Heaven. Before the 4 Pillars, we have to learn about their home, and more specifically, the men who helped build it, or rather, the giant who helped build it. Shohei Giant Baba. With our modern eyes, he may not seem that special, but in his prime of the 1960s and 70s, he was considered a superhero in Japan. And by the time of his death in 1999 due to colon cancer, he was widely considered one of the most iconic wrestlers of Japanese wrestling lore. Beyond his career, though, he's known for another major achievement: the birth of King's Road and the place that would come to define it. In 1974, Giant Baba founded All Japan Pro Wrestling, a more American-style company compared to the competitor New Japan, which was more strike-based and MMA-focused. All Japan quickly rose because of its storytelling and its use of foreign talent, many of which were the top stars of the day: Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, the Funk Brothers, Bruiser Brody, and most importantly, Stan Hansen. From the period of the 70s and the 80s, All Japan proved to be the number 2 behind New Japan. But they had 2 homegrown aces of their own, Jumbo Tsuruta and Genichiro Tenryu. These 2 men would lay the foundation for the King's Road style that would come to define the 4 Pillars and be the 4 Pillars' mentors. Their matches in 1988 and 1989, whether in tags and singles, pushed the King's Road narrative further and furthered All Japan in the 1990s. They competed for something very prestigious, known as the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship, unification between the PWF, United National, and International Championships, won by Jumbo Tsuruta in 1989. From 1989 onwards, come the rise of the said 4 Pillars. In fact, I believe it's time that we begin. And what better place to begin than the absolute top? To put it shortly, the life of Mitsuharu Misawa was not easy. He came from an abusive home and rose to become the ace. How did he do it? Through all this pain, how could he persevere? He was built different, that's what he was. He entered the All Japan Dojo after a very good high school amateur wrestling career, and soon after hard work was viewed by Giant Baba as a prodigy. He was soon sent on a foreign excursion to Mexico, where he trained in the Lucha Libre style. And then he comes back to Japan. He's given the honor of playing a legendary character. He becomes the second iteration of the legendary Tiger Mask. And after capturing both the Junior Heavyweight and the All-Asia Tag Team titles, it was time for Mitsuharu Misawa to unmask. And so he did. In a tag team match with then-partner Toshiaki Kawada, he unmasks and reveals to the Nippon Budokan crowd that he is Mitsuharu Misawa. And after a German suplex to his opponent, his fate is sealed. In that moment, Misawa is reborn, and he challenges the current ace of All Japan, Jumbo Tsuruta, to a match in July. It was this match that made Mitsuharu Misawa a star. He beats Jumbo Tsuruta, and from then on, throughout the entire 1990s, Mitsuharu Misawa has a legendary career that includes 4 runs with the All Japan Triple Crown title. His first one was 735 days, and he fights the other 4 pillars as well as Tsuruta, Stan Hansen, Dr. Death, Terry Gordy, Johnny Ace, and much more. Now, as far as moves go, Misawa has some of the most powerful moves in the entire 4 pillars. You've seen his elbow, but see, he can dive, he can fly, but then come his big weapons. You have the Emerald Flosion, you have the Tiger Driver, and then you have the Tiger Driver 91. This man truly could do it all. And until his death in 2009, Mitsuharu Misawa continued to be an ace of Japanese wrestling. He later actually found Pro Wrestling Noah. That was his company, something he cared for very deeply. Even in death, his legacy still remains as one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time. But he didn't go unopposed. Let's look at his greatest rival. Someone who is truly dangerous. Toshiaki Kawada was a fighter, pure and simple. Be it the heartfelt performances that he gave in the All Japan ring, to the fighting he had to do to even get noticed. He and Misawa were childhood friends, and he followed Misawa to All Japan Pro Wrestling. It was here that his journey differs from Misawa, as the young Kawada had a very hard time getting noticed and earning chances. Giant Baba eventually sends Kawada to North America on a foreign excursion, which Kawada thoroughly hates, and he comes back to Japan with one goal: to succeed. Kawada and his tag team partner Kodo Fuyuki, who are then known as Footloose, win the All Asia Tag Team Championships 4 times, and Kawada in the 80s puts on some very spirited performances. It is not until the 1990s, much like Misawa, that Kawada fully blooms into his own. Adopting the sleek black and yellow tights, Kawada transforms into Dangerous K. At first teaming with Misawa for the Super Generation Army, but most notably being his greatest rival. Kawada and Misawa would define All Japan in the 1990s, and their match on June the 3rd of 1994 is forever considered their greatest bout and one of the greatest bouts in professional wrestling history. As far as his moveset goes, Kawada is strike-based and submission-based. In the intro, you saw his Gamengiri, his big Enzigiri. You saw his Kawada driver and the dangerous DDT, but more than that, a pure striker. And not to mention, the most successful tag team wrestler in All Japan's history, winning the PWF titles and the All Asia title. He truly is not just in Misawa's shadow. He was never in Misawa's shadow. He was his own man. Dangerous K stands alone. And speaking of standing alone, and speaking of adversity, let's talk about the man that was truly forged in the fire. The Burning One. Growing up in a single-parent household and that struggled to make ends meet, Kenta Kobashi truly was forged in the fire. He was a fan of All Japan Pro Wrestling, but he never thought that he'd actually do it. While working a blue-collar job, the story of Mike Tyson inspired the young Kobashi, and he entered into the All Japan dojo, but not without some trouble first. He was denied constantly. They wouldn't let him in because they thought he was too old. He was 22 years old, which is strange to me. Until one day he meets Giant Baba in person, and Giant Baba gives him a chance. But throughout his time in the dojo, it is hard. It is strenuous. It is toxic. Giant Baba keeps telling him to just quit, to just give up. But Kobashi does not give up. Through hard work, through dedication, through true perseverance, Kenta Kobashi becomes arguably the number 2 behind Mitsuharu Misawa by the end of the All Japan period. His matches with Stan Hansen throughout both of their careers have defined them and are some of Kobashi's best matches, but his best matches come with Misawa. Be it in All Japan or even Pro Wrestling Noah, they are defined by each other, and their rivalry may even be more iconic than that of Misawa and Kawada. As far as Kenta Kobashi's moveset goes, to me, he's the most complete of the 4 pillars. Not only can he brawl and fight, not only can he do submissions, not only is he technical, but his offense is so varied. You have his big chops, the Kentucky Bomb, his Orange Crush Splash, even the moonsault that he used in his younger days. But nothing will compare to his 2 biggest bombs. The Burning Lariat will take anyone's head off, and it is iconic. But one move stands above the rest: the Burning Hammer. In Kobashi's hands, or when used by Kobashi, no one ever kicked out of the Burning Hammer, making it probably the most successful super move in the entire 4 pillars. But more than his moves, more than his accomplishments, more than his fame, championships, Kenta Kobashi did something truly spectacular. He beat cancer not once, but twice. This man was so strong and built different to this extent, he beat cancer twice. Hats off to Kenta Kobashi, because I don't think many people can do that. But man, I mean, what else can you say? He beat cancer twice. A true warrior. But I think it's time to get to our final pillar, because every strong structure needs a foundation. And this next man is truly the foundation. Akira Taue has the most unconventional way out of the 4 pillars to enter professional wrestling, because before professional wrestling, he was a sumo wrestler. And he could have made it farther, but he chose to go to pro wrestling. Taue is often considered the weakest link of the 4 pillars, and I'm here to say to you that is a steaming load of bullshit. He's the most traditional wrestler out of the 4. Not saying he's basic, but he is traditional. In the early 90s, when Misawa and Kawada and Kobashi were forging a new super generation, revolting against the old guard, Taue turned on them and joined the old guard. And it was through there he had his most famous matches, versus Misawa, versus Kawada, versus Kobashi, versus the new generation. He, quite frankly, is the enforcer of the 4 pillars. He's the foundation of the 4 pillars, actually. The one that sticks to his values. And as far as his moves go, his choke slams, his Nadawa Otoshis are very violent. His big chops, his dynamic boot. However, he has two big super moves. He has the choke slam off the apron, and then he has the I am Taue, which is a very vicious choke slam variation. In his career, he won the Triple Crown title, the big title in All Japan, much like the other four pillars did. A multiple-time PWF Tag Team Championship winner, All Asia Tag Title winner. I believe he won the Champions Carnival. He does have a good career, but he often gets overlooked compared to the other four pillars, which is a shame, because I think he's very fun to watch. So what to make of the four pillars? Well, in my estimation, they are four of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Maybe not the top, but they have to belong somewhere in the conversation. Out of the four of them, my personal favorite is Kenta Kobashi. But if you want, in the comment section below, tell me who is your favorite out of the four pillars. I wanted to say very quickly, I'm very proud of this video, and making this video was a true honor to cover these four individuals and All Japan in general. So yeah, that's sort of the end of it. Not really anything big. I want to say thank you for watching so much. Thank you for indulging me in this little nerd out time where we can talk about wrestling. Although, there is one more thing I want to say. Maybe, just maybe, we can talk about the fifth pillar. Actually, let's save that for another video. Until that time, thank you for watching. Subscribe. Have a wonderful day or night, and stay frosty. God bless.